As fans eagerly await Season 3 of The Mandalorian, many of them wonder about the possible return of comedian Bill Burr as Miggs Mayfield, whose future on the series was left intentionally ambiguous. Burr's cameo as an ex-sharpshooter in Season 1 was surprisingly well received, providing him the opportunity to become a guest star in the second season, where he was able to blend humor with poignant drama. With his status unknown, it's the perfect time to reflect on all of his contemporaries who have appeared in Star Wars TV shows on Disney Plus over the years. Beginning with The Mandalorian and continuing with the Book of Boba Fett and Obi-Wan Kenobi, these performers have been allowed to stretch their acting abilities by either portraying dramatic characters like Mayfield, or the kind that directly benefit from their hilarious delivery, like Amy Sedaris as Peli Motto. The best comedians to appear in Star Wars don't even have to have a particularly large part to deliver big laughs. Brian Posehn as Speeder Cabby, the Mandalorian from the word go. The Mandalorian filled its roster with comedians, though they aren't always easy to spot, like Brian Posehn with his beard, hood, and goggles. He plays a speeder cabbie who picks up Mondo after he refuses a lift with a droid-driven craft, approximating what an inner-city driver on Earth might sound like on an ice planet. Posehn is best known for his stoner, nerd persona, playing Brian Spakowski on the Sarah Silverman program, and writing for Mr. Show with Bob and David. He has the perfect presence for this sort of role which, while brief, is no less memorable, and leaves a great impression of the caliber of cameos in the rest of the show. Horatio Sanz as Mithril, the Mandalorian appearing in the same episode as Brian Posehn. Horatio Sanz portrays the blue-faced Mithril that Mondo is tracking during the first mission of Season 2. Sanz, who appeared on Saturday Night Live for 8 seasons, uses his special brand of comedic timing to rile up the taciturn Mandalorian. It seems SNL alums either start podcasts or spend their time bothering hardened bounty hunters. Sanz used the same delivery from comedies like Rebound and Boat Trip to push Mondo to the breaking point and ended up getting frozen in carbonite by the end of the trip. Not only was the character hilarious, but his interactions with the bounty hunter revealed where his line in the sand was. Richard Ayoade as Zero, the Mandalorian. Richard Ayoade popped up in Chapter 6 of The Mandalorian as Zero, a killer robot in the vein of IG-11. Previously known for comedic roles in series like The IT Crowd, he gives Zero more personality than fans might expect, especially with the unenviable task of turning on poor Grogu. The mask, like with several other characters, obscures the face of this cameo and robs fans of the chance to see Ayoade's amusing reactions to the chaos going on around him as Mondo and the gang of mercenaries try to fulfill their mission. Matt Berry as 8D8. The Book of Boba Fett. Boba Fett might be a pretty serious bounty hunter, but that doesn't mean he isn't surrounded by an entourage without a sense of humor. Matt Berry plays 8D8, one of the droids Fett comes across upon returning to Jabba the Hutt's palace, and even without jokes to crack, no one could mistake Berry's particular vocal cadence. A staple of British comedies in series like Toast of London, Matt Berry is currently being theatrically hilarious as Laszlo in What We Do in the Shadows. In Star Wars, droids often have just as much personality as their human and alien counterparts, and Berry's delivery continues the tradition. Jason Sudeikis, Drew Hale, Adam Pally as Scout Troopers, The Mandalorian. Lots of stars have played Stormtroopers before, including Tom Hardy and Daniel Craig in the sequel trilogy, but none have made quite the impression as the Scout Troopers played by Jason Sudeikis, Drew Hale, and Adam Pally in The Mandalorian. They appear in Chapter 7 and 8 in a slice-of-life vignette seated on their speeder bikes, waiting for their orders. Their vocal inflections might give them away. Sudeikis currently stars in Ted Lasso, one of the best TV shows by SNL alumni, but it's their actions that really reach out and grab fans. They punch a kidnapped Grogu, first in the pouch he's carried in, and then later in the face. No comedian is likable enough to get away with that. Stephen Root as Lortha Peel, the Book of Boba Fett as the new daimyo. Fett spends a lot of his time listening to the inane prattle of incensed merchants, one of whom is Lortha Peel, played by Stephen Root. Peel is upset about a gang of local teens who have been stealing his water supply, but what he fails to tell Fett is that he's raised his prices so much that he's causing a water shortage. Only Root, known for classic comedies like Office Space and Dodgeball, can make Peel come across as the sort of sniveling business owner who's inadvertently funny as he tries to take advantage of his customers. When he tries to take advantage of Fett's generosity, however, he finds that bounty hunter turned crime lord unamused. Esif Ali as Cobbin, Eugene Cordero as Stoke, The Mandalorian Chapter 4 of The Mandalorian, one of the best self-contained stories in the already episodic series, placed Mando and Grogu in a village in need of protection. While most of the villagers didn't stand out, a pair of goofy fellows played with aplomb by Esif Ali and Eugene Cordero managed to. Esif Ali appeared in WandaVision and Eugene Cordero appeared in Tacoma FD, while both appear together in such comedies as Star Trek, Lower Decks, and Easter Sunday. Their chemistry together is not only complementary but ensures the tension of the episode is broken by a few good laughs. Amy Sedaris as Peli Motto, The Mandalorian. Much like Burrs Mayfield, Amy Sedaris Peli Motto almost can't be considered a Star Wars celebrity cameo any longer given how much the role has been expanded, but the comedian only appears during Tatooine sequences. Her hardened mechanic with a heart of gold, especially for Grogu, makes the scenes on the dusty planet endearing and spunky. Sedaris infuses her patented self-awareness and irony into the role but manages to make it feel very lived-in, like the rest of the Star Wars universe. Known for comedies like Elf and BoJack Horseman, her warm cynicism sets the perfect tone for Mando and Grogu's budding relationship. Zach Braff as Freck, Obi-Wan Kenobi. Obi-Wan Kenobi didn't have as many cameos as other Star Wars TV shows, but it was also half as long as most of their seasons. One of the most ambitious in terms of narrative structure, it nevertheless made time for little moments amidst all the planet-hopping and lightsaber duels. One arrived as Obi-Wan Kenobi traveled incognito with his young ward, picked up on the side of the road by a driver named Freck. Played by Scrubs alum Zach Braff, there's very little to give the comedian away, especially since Freck resembles a humanoid mole and sounds like Ralph the dog from The Muppets. Braff is energetic enough to make Freck feel like a very fleshed-out character despite his brief screen time, chatting away with Obi-Wan with delightful incessantness as they travel down the road. Kumail Nanjiani as Haja Estri, Obi-Wan Kenobi. One of the most fascinating mini-plots of Obi-Wan Kenobi revolves around Kumail Nanjiani's character Haja Estri pretending to be a Jedi in order to shake down unsuspecting marks. Eventually, he's discovered by a real Jedi, and Obi-Wan shows him what it means to get on their bad side. The role is cameo-sized and yet plays a very integral part in the overall story, and Nanjiani strikes a balance between a comedic and serious character. Known for shows like Silicon Valley and comedies like The Big Sick, he's able to do a lot with a small part and show some real character development by the end.